I'm going to show you the fastest way to sell Pokemon cards in 2023. Today, we're going to be talking about TCG Player and their leveling system, how you can acquire cards for your collection or your business, how you can then list these cards, where to sell them, how to rank up from level 1 to level 4 in the fastest possible way, and everything under the sun. In this video, you're going to get the tools that you need to understand how you can buy cards for a business or for an easy profit, then list them on TCG Player, quickly sell them, get them shipped, and the best ways to do so. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to share with you the most important part of this entire process and how you can do this all for yourself. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into step 1 of this 5-step process, and that's going to be acquire a collection. Now, whether you're doing this for either a personal use and you're just trying to make a little bit of side income, or you're trying to make an entire business out of selling on platforms like TCG Player and eBay, Amazon, Mercari, and whatnot, these things are very important. You need to start with some sort of inventory, whether that's going to be the personal collection that you currently have as a Pokemon hobbyist, or if you have some capital laying around, you have a couple $100 or $10 and you're looking to then go buy collections off of other people. The entire Pokemon business revolves around buying singles, bulk cards from other people, bringing them into your store, and then relisting them online. So the first step is going to be acquire a collection. Now you're going to want to be doing this at around 60% or 70% of the market value and have bulk rates priced out so that when people have common cards, uncommon cards, rares, and hollows, you can say, hey, I paid 2 cents for these cards or 1.5 cents or whatever bulk rate you want to do. You want to set up these pricing guides so that when you're messaging people and when people come to you, you have prices ready to go and that you can buy inventory for your business. Step number 2 is going to be create a TCG Player seller account. Now you can also use eBay, but for this I specifically wanted to talk about how you can go from a level 1 seller to a level 4 seller as fast as possible on TCG Player. And in my opinion, TCG Player is the best place to sell your trading card game singles in the fastest way and the easiest process. So go ahead and go over to tcgplayer.com, create a seller account, go ahead and register a name to that business, and then there you go. You need to set up some banking information and maybe provide your social security number to verify that you're a real person. And after that, you will now have a TCG Player seller account and can list items on TCG Player Sellers Marketplace. But wait, there's one thing that, doesn't quite work out. You might have just created your seller account and now you think you're off to the races. You can list infinite numbers of cards and everything. But there's one small problem, and that's your seller level. TCG Player actually assigns you a level when you start selling. Level 1 sellers are limited on the amount of items that they can list, the value they can list, and you have to do a fixed shipping rate to make sure that you can cover the cost of it to ship your cards. But in this 4-step process of going from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, then level 4, you evolve, become a better seller, you become a more trusted seller, and eventually unlock that sweet, customizable shipping option, which is going to increase your sales dramatically. So let's go ahead and talk about how you could actually do this. Now, it's first important to understand, yes, there's 4 levels. There's level 1 all the way to level 4, and these levels go off of a couple things to make sure that you can rank up to the next level. The first thing is going to be the amount of orders that you have marked as completed. In this case, a completed order is either a order that has tracking, has been delivered to the customer, and the order status has changed to completed, or if you're using plain white envelopes, it takes 6 business days for a order to be marked as completed once you have marked it shipped. So when I was starting this business, I used 8 days as a kind of a understanding of how that would all work, because you have to factor in the weekends to those business days. So 8 days for PWE and probably 3 to 4 days on tracking, depending on where you're sending those tracked orders. So that's number 1 thing that you have to think about. The second thing that you have to think about is your feedback. Now, we're not just going on TCG Player to just sell all of our cards willy-nilly and not think about it. We want to be thoughtful and be proficient about how we are selling these cards and make sure in the end that the end customer is getting a good experience. Here on the Lab TCG, I cover all sorts of topics on how you can sell Pokemon cards as a business or as a hobby. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and check out the other videos that I have on my channel that cover this topic. But those are the 2 things that we are basically going to be looking out for. Now, when you are a level 1 seller, you are allowed to list 100 total items and up to $1,000 in value. The way that this works is that you are going to be given those 100 slots, and that is not unique listings, that is count. So if you go on your TCG Player account and the first thing that you list is Irida Hollow from Astral Radiance, if you list 4 Iridas, you have now used up 4 of your slots of that 100. That's very important to note, because that doesn't mean you can just have 100 different unique listings with a quantity of 20 on each item. So that's definitely something to keep in note. And in order to rank up to level 2, you need to have 2 orders marked as complete. And like I said earlier, that's going to be based on the shipping time and when things are actually marked correctly for being completed. Now, in my opinion, the fastest way to rank up from level 1 all the way to level 4 is to sell cards that are primarily over $20 in value with tracked shipping. You could also do this with sealed product if you want to go buy like theme decks or little booster packs or whatever and just assign shipping to them. But if you don't want to lose money and you're not looking to do this as a loss leader, then you're probably going to want to just do cards that are worth over $20 in value. Generally speaking, what I do in my business is anything that's under $20, I'll ship with a plain white envelope, and anything over $20, I'll put tracking on it and I'll use a bubble mailer. So the fastest way to get those orders completed is going to be tracking your items that are over $20 in value, because the time to complete that order is only 3 to 4 days instead of the 8. So that's how I would do that. Your first 2 sales should be pretty easy. You're going to want to go to the marketplace price of the item and look at the lowest listings that are on TCG Player. If you list the items lower, they're going to sell faster. So when you combine the couple of things that we're talking about, which is tracked orders plus low items, you're going to start accumulating sales a lot faster than if you were to list at market price and maybe you're not thinking about the tracking part because of the completion date, but that's the best way to do it. So level 1, you need 2 orders to then move to level 2. Level 2, you unlock 500 total items, same thing as level 1 where those have to be quantity, not unique listing, and you can list up to $5,000 in total value. Nothing much is new about level 2, but you do need 11 orders to then rank up to level 3, and you need a feedback ratio of over 85%. So again, we're making sure that we're doing a good job selling cards. We don't want to be sending people damaged cards when we're listing them incorrectly or anything like that. So make sure that you're being diligent in checking the condition of the cards, providing a good experience, and packaging the cards well. Now that we're on to level 3, things start to kick up a little bit. You can now list 50,000 total items and have an inventory value of $100,000. Now, I don't know many people that are going to have a level 3 account with $100,000 in cards, but if you did have that, you should reach level 4 in no time. That's going to be a great way to do it. But again, nothing too unique about talking about level 3. In order to rank up to level 4, you're going to have 51 completed orders. So this is a big jump from those other levels. But level 4 is the biggest trade-off because you're going to unlock some future perks that we'll talk about in a second. With level 4, you need those 51 completed shipping orders. And this is where I'm talking about, okay, so you are listing items that are being tracked. The 4 days is a lot faster than 8. And realistically, if you have enough cards to start this business out, you should be able to hit level 4 rather quickly. But some people are not going to have a bunch of cards that are $20 in value to ship and track. So this is where you can combine the plain white envelope orders and the tracked orders together and kind of start to accumulate those sales. So if you look at the other videos on this channel that talk about how to sell on TCG Player, you can see how this kind of works up. How you work your way up. You start with a few tracked orders, you kind of breeze through level 1, level 2, and then you continue on and you get the higher feedback, more people are going to buy from you, and it kind of just snowballs from there. So now that you've been using tracking to get all of these orders marked complete, it is time for level 4 selling. Now, why is level 4 selling great? Well, you get unlimited items. So remember that thing I was talking about where the unique quantities, going to be set to however many you list? You can just ignore that. You can now list as many cards as you would like. Additionally, this unlocks custom shipping options. So one of the big things about the previous levels that's going to really slow down your sales at first is you have to assign a fixed shipping rate to those items, whether that's $1 or $4.99. It depends on how much you're wanting to charge for shipping. But at level 4, you unlock the ability to do free shipping, which you can then set your shipping to free, and TCG Player will automatically make it so that orders under $5 get charged $1. Now, this is really great because when people are buying cards from you that are over $20 in value, they're going to be able to get free shipping, and when they're buying cards that are under $5 in value, which is something that would normally lose you money, you get a buffer of $1. And a lot of the time, people are not discouraged to go onto your store and buy tons of items so that they can surpass that $5 shipping. This is not only going to start snowballing your sales where more people are coming to your store and buying more items all at once, which is going to get more sales, which makes more profit, which makes more collections to be purchased. Then you are starting to just snowball and snowball and snowball, and eventually you're just going to have basically a fleet of orders every night of people that are buying things for their collections or for their decks or anything that it might be. So that's kind of how all of that stuff works together. Now, remember that snowball that I was just talking about? The most important thing here that some people might completely miss is actually going to be the pricing data tab. Now, this is something that I use in my Pokemon business all the time, and it has helped me a whole lot in listing orders. Recently in 2023, I've tried to take the approach that efficiency is what's going to drive my business to the next level, cutting out waste, cutting out excess, like moving things around, shipping items, anything that's like extra is just not going to be worth it. The way I used to do things is I would sort all of my inventory, then I would list it one by one on the inventory tab of TCG Player, which is what you're going to have to do for those first couple levels. But once you unlock level 4, you actually get access to the pricing tab and can export CSVs, which is a comma separated value list. It's basically, if you have Excel, you can kind of export all the data from a set and then adjust the quantities and the prices within Excel, and you can sort out different custom filters. So if you have all bulk cards, then you're going to want to export a CSV that only contains bulk cards. If you have all ultra rares, you're going to want to export a CSV that has all ultra rares. Once you export that CSV, you edit the prices, you edit the quantity, and then you re-upload the CSV to TCG Player, hit save, hit list to live, and then your inventory updates way faster than if you were to sit there and manually price everything on the inventory tab. So that is the key thing that's really important to know. But number 5 is actually going to be rinse and repeat. Now that you have level 4 on TCG Player, you've set your shipping to whatever it is you want, you're going to just keep doing this because now you're going to be acquiring collections at cheaper values. As a business, you're going to be selling cards at market value, and then this process just continues to repeat, where you are selling cards, you're buying cards, you're selling cards, you're buying cards, and over time, the best way that you can maximize this business is to take all the profits that you've made and continue to reinvest it in inventory. I built this business with $500 and a collection that had a bunch of cards. I started out with the tracking, and it probably took me longer to create level 4 than it probably should have. But when combining the level 4 shipping with more collections, more purchases, everything that you see behind me came from a $500 collection. So that is the biggest thing. Now, if you want a more granular approach to how to sell on TCG Player, I would check out this video because it's going to teach you exactly how you should do it.